At this point, you're either wondering where is IndyCar 26 or you completely forgot it was even happening to begin with. But we are here to talk about where the game is, what we know currently about it releasing as well, and yeah, what the future looks like for getting this game here this year. And the very first thing we know about the release of IndyCar 26 is they confirmed it early on. It's coming out in the final half of 2026. So don't expect it before, June or even July. It's just not going to happen. It's going to be in that final half of the year. And I mean, I have absolutely no source to confirm, but you would think realistically you would want the game out at least a month or two before the season is over. But keep in mind, IndyCar ends pretty early. They're done in September, so you do not want to be releasing an IndyCar 26 game after the 2026 season has already concluded. At that point, you want to be looking at just delaying the game till next year at that point. Now, before I dive into what we know is, or what I expect is going on from experience with the iRacing Studios team and their release windows and what we have learned from the NASCAR 25 release, let's just talk about exactly what we know. And I mean, ever since information has come out recently from 2025, we haven't really learned anything else. But just to refresh your mind, of course, we are getting IndyCar, and not only IndyCar, we're getting Indy Next as well in the game. So you're not only getting the top series, but you're going to be getting the secondary series, the prospect series. And this game's going to feature a multi-level career mode, obviously all the licensed drivers, and online multiplayer, which basically tells me they're kind of going into IndyCar 26 with a concept similar to the NASCAR 25 game, which was just getting the fundamentals down first, the gameplay, the handling, and the visuals, and having at least though a career mode there so the players can still have fun, and just kind of getting all the basics down before they really dive into making the game great over the next few years. And that's the very first thing they did with NASCAR 25, was you got your just quite simple career mode. I want to see that career mode fledged at way more than what it is currently, and we know they're going to do that. And then they had your championship mode, and they had your online and race now, and that was pretty well it. But they focused on the fundamentals of the visuals, the handling model, the physics and stuff like that, and just making sure the overall gameplay was going to be enjoyable first. And it seems like they're doing that for IndyCar 26. They are building the product from the ground up. Keep in mind, they got the licensing from Motorsport Games, who of course tanked and gave up the license just like they did the NASCAR license. And iRacing Studios did not really take, what Motorsport Games had built and brought it into their own development. No, they're doing everything from the ground up. So it's going to take them quite a bit of time to make this game happen. And they had, in the release last year, when they announced the game, had mentioned they had already actually been working on the game. It wasn't like they had announced the game and then now they're just going to start working on it. No, they had already had the partnership accepted. The deal was already through. They had already been working on the game. So they've already had a bit of a head start. And I'm sure progress is going, I would hope, really well here. And yeah, I mean, we'll wait and see when an announcement comes soon. But as well, this game is going to be on the iRacing Studios proprietary and enhanced, I hope I say it right, Orontes engine. If you don't know what that engine is, it was used in one of iRacing's first games that they had put out on their own, Exocross, and you can kind of see visually what to expect from that game. But keep in mind, they're calling it an enhanced engine, so I would expect it's going to look better than what Exocross did, multiple years ago. But I mean, even what it looked like multiple years ago was pretty good. So that right there is pretty promising. There's also, a dedicated team to the IndyCar game. So it's not like they got a NASCAR team, or a team just building both the NASCAR game and the IndyCar game. No, it seems like they've got a different team for each game, which obviously is the right way to go, because if we had one team doing both games, we would get half-baked games every year and we would get nowhere, and we would be continuously disappointed with the product of both every year, and that would just be terrible. Scott McLaughlin is a driver for Penske, and he is actually part of the development process of the IndyCar game as well, and it's going to be exciting to see the input that he brings into the game, from handling and hopefully even like a career mode perspective as well. He can add a lot of insight on working his way into IndyCar. Obviously, he has a very different career path into IndyCar than a lot of drivers coming from supercars, but nonetheless, his input's going to be very rewarding, I think, for the game. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Now that we kind of know what to expect from IndyCar 26, when is it coming out? When are they going to say anything? Because they've been dead silent. Well, we can probably look at NASCAR 25 as an example as to what to expect here. NASCAR 25 from iRacing Studios last year came out in October. We didn't really know a single thing about the game. They didn't even announce it officially coming out until August of 2025, so a 2-month window. We didn't get a gameplay reveal until about mid-September, and it was really half-baked. It was just a few cars driving past like a camera at Daytona. So they really kind of packed the promotion and marketing for the game into just, literally a 1-month window. They announced it a couple months before. They did a little trailer, a month later, and then next thing you know, the game's coming out 1 month after that pretty well. So it's all pretty quick, but that tells us to expect probably the same thing. Now, one thing I was critical about iRacing Studios last year was the marketing. I felt like the marketing could have been significantly better. And honestly, man, I would offer to help out for free. Get me on the team or something, man. I would love to help out. But I would expect a similar process. Hopefully, they learned something from NASCAR 25 and how to promote it better for the IndyCar game that will, I would imagine, come out before NASCAR 26. Considering the IndyCar season ends so much earlier than NASCAR. But my expectation is, and hope, is that we at least will get an announcement or a reveal of this game during the week of the Indy 500. That's just like the easiest layup possible to reveal your game, and it's going to be the #1 opportunity to build hype for the IndyCar 26 game. Now, that's what, if I was marketing a game, that's what my expectation would be. Indy 500 week, say, hey, our game's coming out in 2 months, potentially. That gives us that would be a July release, maybe even like extremely early August would be acceptable at that point. But you just got to keep in mind as well, IndyCar, just like the NASCAR release, just like every sports release, it's a sports game, and sport games always have a really tight window on reveal, promotion, release, and then of course they'll support it for X amount of months, and then all the focus goes into the next game for the next year at that point. So my personal expectation is a reveal around Indy 500 week. That's kind of been my expectation for quite a while now, especially they've been dead silent. It really leads up to a bit of that anticipation. I know a lot of you guys have been coming into my streams and asking me, where's this IndyCar game? And I'm just like, dude, they have been dead silent. I don't know, but I would expect this to happen here around Indy 500 week, hopefully. And then, like I said, for a release, you do not want to release a sports game after a season has already concluded for said sport, and then therefore your game is already outdated. So my expectation going off of, I can't think of any motorsport game that's released for a season after that season is finished. So by that logic, I would expect IndyCar 26 at the absolute latest in September, but I think that would be a missed opportunity. I would hope for a latest release window of August, and maybe as soon as mid to late July. That's just my personal expectations, just kind of, mapping things off of what we've seen from the studio with the NASCAR 25 release. Of course, NASCAR 25 came out about a month before the NASCAR season was over, and that's always been a bit of a frustration, but at the end of the day, you can't do anything about it. But it's just like, oh, we're playing this new game, but it's already outdated after 30 days pretty well, because there's now changes coming for the next season that we don't get unless they do a DLC, which they ended up not giving us for NASCAR 25. I hope I could maybe provide some insight and expectations for you guys. And I remember, last year before the NASCAR release, it was the same thing. Where's the news? When is this game coming? We haven't heard anything. There must be things going wrong, etc., etc. And one final note, this game is coming out, of course, on all current consoles, PS5, the Xbox Series X, and also on Steam. Hopefully it's not a NASCAR situation where the Steam edition comes out a month later, and hopefully it comes out at the same release time as the consoles. But obviously, you guys know we will be doing a fully fledged out career mode of IndyCar 26 on this channel. I'm already starting to write some storylines and prologues and ideas I want to go with for the kind of RP aspect. But yeah, I'm excited to play, and anytime we get some news, you can expect it right here on this channel. That's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.